What's going on, everybody? Charles Weinraub, AKA the Handsome Homebuyer, today, here with you, and we are going to talk about what every investor needs to know, and homeowner and realtor for that matter, the ABCs of zoning. So anybody that's in real estate, whether you're an attorney, real estate attorney, whether you're a mortgage broker, whether you're a realtor, and of course, if you're an investor, very, very important to understand exactly what zoning is. For the purposes of this presentation, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about kind of some high-level zoning terms that everybody should be familiar with if you're interested in real estate, and these apply mostly to Long Island, New York. However, it can apply all over the country. So essentially, first off, what is zoning? Zoning is law, and there are actually attorneys that specialize in zoning, can be very, very high priced as well. It's a very, very niche type of topic. But what essentially zoning is the government makes laws to essentially allow people to develop certain things in certain places and certain things in others. It's a way they control the landscape of a given area, where you can put industrial, where you can put houses, how big the properties have to be. This is the way that they control that, what can be used and what can be done, okay? Why is this important? This is super important because if you're investing in real estate, there might be opportunities if you understand zoning code and zoning law and what could be done on undervalued properties. And on the flip side, you need to know that you're not overpaying for something or getting into something that you're gonna have a problem with because you're not gonna be able to have the specific use that you are looking to do. Or as a homeowner, if you're doing additions and things like that on a very basic level, you could have to go for variances and get delays, and it could cost a lot of money depending on what the zoning is in that particular area. So we're gonna go over a couple of basic terms right now. Residential, A, B, C, etc. So essentially there's all different kinds of zones. Commercial, neighborhood business, general business, residence, A, B, C. As far as residence, A, B, C, etc., depending on the township. And this all depends on the county that you're in, the area, the township you're in, the area of that township. You know, in certain parts you might be able to build a house on a half acre. In other parts you might need 3 acres. It really all depends on the zoning code. So residents A, B, and C, they have it online and they're gonna basically break down to you exactly how big a lot has to be, how high the house can be, how much lot coverage, etc. So certain things that are in these zoning areas are lot size. So if you are in town of Brookhaven, they might say, hey, listen, you minimum have to have a half acre. Or if you are in the town of Hempstead, they might say you need a minimum of a 50 by 100 lot or a 60 by 100 lot. All right, that's the lot size, 4,000, 5,000, 12,000 square feet, whatever that is, okay? Setbacks, another term that everybody should be familiar with. When you put a house on a lot, there are certain setbacks. And for every residential zone, it's different. And for every asset class or type of property, it's different. So they might say, okay, in the town of Brookhaven, you need a 25-foot front yard setback, a 35-foot rear yard setback, and a combined side yard setback of 25 feet. What does that mean? That means from the street to the house, you need 25 feet. From the rear of the property to the back of the house, you need 35 feet. And when you add the two sides together from left to right, when it touches the house, it has to be a total of 25 feet. But then they'll also tell you one side has to be a minimum of 15 and the other has to be a minimum of 10. It's very intricate, very detailed, and very important that you study the ins and outs of this before building, developing, and buying property. Minimum width. There's certain townships. Let's say I went into the Village of Babylon the other day. I thought I had a property I could divide. It was 100 by 150. They said, sorry, you can't do that. We just changed the zoning code 2 months ago. We require a minimum of 70 feet of frontage. I would only have 50. The person that was selling to me guaranteed me I can do the subdivision. Had I have bought that without doing the due diligence and not knowing about zoning, I would have had a major, major, major problem. So lot size, setbacks, minimum width, lot coverage. Within these different zones, you're only allowed to cover a certain percentage of the lot. So they might say you can only cover 25%, 40%, 60%, whatever that is. So that is going to restrict the size of the house that you can build. Or if you're going to do additions to a certain house, that is going to require you to potentially go for a variance. A variance is when you go in front of the BZA or Board of Zoning Appeals and you're asking them for relief. You have an issue in which you're only allowed to build to 40%, you're looking to build to 43%, you're asking for their permission they may or may not grant that to you. But that's the way you get around certain things like this. All right, health department. If you're out in Suffolk County or you're in any area that has cesspools not on sewer, the health department could potentially be a real issue for you. They have maps that say how big the lot size has to be, if you're grandfathered into old code, if it's new code, what type of septic system you have to put in. Again, if you're not familiar with this can get very expensive, or in certain cases, like somebody brought me a 40 by 100 lot, a 40 by 100 lot in Patchogue a few months ago, told me it could definitely be developed. When I reached out to the health department, they said absolutely not. You need a minimum of 100 feet of width, because what they're saying is when the sewage goes into the soil, it goes at least 40 feet wide, 20 on each side. So they're prohibiting or restricting 40 by 100 lots. If I would have bought that, would have been a major problem. Very important to know that. FAR, or height. So in the city, it's FAR, or floor air ratio. It's a particular formula that tells you how high you can go. That's usually in the city, other parts of the country. In Long Island, they just basically give you the height. They say 2 stories, 2.5 stories, 1 story, or a maximum of 35 feet, whatever that is. But again, very important, you can't violate that. If you are going to, you need to go for a variance. There's a public hearing, neighbors can get upset, and you may or may not get it depending on what you're looking to build. Okay? The most important thing for people to understand is what you see isn't always what you get. When you are going through the zoning code and you see that you have this property, I'll give you an example. I'm purchasing a property that used to be a gas station. It's a half acre. When you read the rules lightly, on kind of like on a high level, it says that I can build 12,000 square feet. But once I start looking at, and I get that based on the FAR, how much I can build, right, the size. But when I look at lot coverage, when I take into consideration the minimum width, all the setbacks, the parking requirements, that 12,000 square foot building that I thought I could build is a maximum of 7,200 square feet. So again, very important to get a quality expediter, a quality architect, or have a general understanding of zoning code. A lot of these resources are online, the zoning maps are online, and obviously if you need something, the captain's always here to help you. I appreciate you guys watching. If you found this valuable, if you like the information, if you want to learn more, if you want to be entertained, click that subscribe button. We'll catch you on the next one.